Do you want a piece of cake? If you want to learn how to make this one, stay tuned because we're going to start now. Hey everyone, today we will make beautiful cake, which is also my favorite one. You can call it in 3 different names. You can call it Mille Feuille, you can call it Cremeschnitte or Napoleon cake. You choose how you're going to call it. But I'm going to tell you a little bit what is the difference in between them. Because the dough and the pastry cream that we're going to make today are usually the same, but there is a difference in the building process of the cakes. The Mille Feuille, it's more layers, less cream in it. The Cremeschnitte, it's more cream, less layers. And the Napoleon one, when I'm comparing the 3 of them, it's somewhere in the middle. It's the 50-50 of cream and layers. And this one that we're going to make today. It's going to be simple and easy if you're not making the actual puff pastry dough. To make the dough, it's a little bit complicated and difficult to make in home settings. So I'm going to give you a hack, just buy the dough. So we have the oven already preheated, as I said before, 180 Celsius or 360 Fahrenheit. I have a top and bottom grill, but if you have a convection oven, even better. We have the puff pastry dough already set 10 to 15 minutes outside to give it a little bit the rise. We're going to take a fork and punch a little bit of puff pastry dough to avoid of the puff pastry dough to rise unevenly. We don't want to give it too much of a puff in the oven, because again, we're going to put it in the cake as layers. So we don't want too much, but we still want a little bit. And let's put it into the oven, 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how strong your oven is. Usually, I'm checking just for the color. You're looking for a really nice golden color. If you like it a little bit more brown and a little bit more caramelized, let's say it this way, give it a little bit more. But make sure to check on. When you bind the puff pastry dough, make sure to check the ingredients on the box and look for the good puff pastry doughs that are made with butter. Because most of those puff pastry doughs are made usually with palm oil, margarine and all of this stuff, and the texture is different and also the taste, it's not the same as the really nice croissant puff pastry dough that made in pastry shops. So make sure to check for the puff pastry dough with butter. Usually they are a little bit more expensive, but they're worth the money and the taste totally different. And meantime the puff pastry is in the oven. Let's start roll on the cream. We have 2 pots on the stove. Both of them are not on. We're going to put all the milk that we have in the recipe, the cream and half of the sugar, because the other half we're going to make with the egg yolks. All the measurements and the ingredients are in the description below, just let you know, so you can check it out at any time. I put it on 7 out of 9, so the milk and the cream are not going to burn on the bottom, and you don't have to stir it consistently all the time, because we don't want to bring it too fast to boil. We want to give it the milk and the cream with the sugar the time to melt, heat up slowly and easily. Meantime, we're going to work on the base of the cream. Egg yolks, the other half of the sugar, cornstarch, pinch of salt, vanilla extract. You can use, if you want, a whole vanilla bean, but if you're using a whole vanilla bean, you can cut it, take out the beans, put them in the milk with the bean itself. After the milk and the cream and everything is hot, you take out the bean and you're not using it. You can take it, as Carlos said in the previous videos, take the bean, put it in sugar, let it sit, and after that, make your vanilla extract. Usually, this is how it's made. So, we're going to add to this a little bit of brandy. At the beginning, it's going to look that you have too much dry stuff and you will think maybe I'm going to add a little bit more water or another egg or something. Don't add. Just continue whisking it, and after that you're going to get to the consistency. When the liquid's already hot, we're going to add them to the base. Slowly and gradually. We don't want to add all the hot liquids at once because it's going to cook the eggs, and after that you're going to have like scrambled eggs. We're going to add it slowly while whisking it. The sheets came out of the oven. You can see how nice it is. Puffed, really nice. Let them chill completely. Pour all of it into the pot and start whisking it. I'm doing it on 6 out of 9. Even, let's do it 5. We want really nice pastry cream here. So 5 out of 9. Keep stirring it Don't leave it by itself, otherwise it's going to stick to the bottom and start burning. Beautiful. Now in this moment you see that the cream is already thickened. Take it from the heat, keep stirring it for another 30 seconds, a little bit. We're going to add just the zest, we're not going to use the lemon juice, so keep the lemon for something else. Adding the lemon to the pastry cream, we're going to make the cream not too heavy, and it's going to, like in taste and the perception of the person who is eating it, it's going to be lighter. Very nice. So now pour the liquid into a bowl, and you can see how nice and very important. Taste. This is my favorite. All of this is just for me. After it's going to chill, we're going to build. So, meantime now, we're waiting for the pastry cream to chill down. Let's start working on the trays. Everything in cooking, it's like back and forth in between the methods of cooking. Then you're doing something, after that you're waiting for something else, you're doing something else, and after that you're jumping back. Everything is like this. So, we have our puff pastry sheets. So, it's look a little bit different because it's two different type of doughs. So, don't worry. And also this one, I had small difficulty, I will tell you the truth, to go in the middle. So, nobody's going to see it anyway. Now we're going to trim the edges and actually make it as a sheet that's actually going to fit into the trays. Approximately same size, like this, and check if it's actually fit. If you have a little bit less, a little bit more, it's okay. If it's a little bit too much, trim a little bit more. But if it's good, it's good. One go on the top. On the top, it's becoming wider, so make sure to not trim the same amount, trim a little bit less. And we're going to use a food processor to blitz them and make them to a smaller, like confetti, that we're going to decorate with it, and also put it on the bottom, so all the cream is going to be soaking to it, and after that the cake itself is going to be much firmer. This way we're using all the scraps inside the cake. If you want, and you have big pieces of the edges, you can make like 4 layers, and one of the layers in the middle going to be the pieces. This is also fine. For me, for this tray, it's more than enough, and all the edges I'm using for the process of making the cake firm, so when you're taking it out, you're actually going to see really nice layers and everything. So, I'm using a brown mixer, hand blend mixer. You have a food processor with it, and I'm going to leave you a link in the description below if you want to check it out. Take our edges, put them in the processor, and blitz them. Give it a couple of pulses. If you want, you can keep those one, but usually better in the fridge, or if you want to keep it in the future to put it on desserts or something like that, put it in the freezer. It's going to be very nice when you put it on desserts or ice cream, like a little bit of this. But if you do it, mix it a little bit with the sugar powder, so it's going to be sweet, because there is no taste to this. And just the plain dough, so it's not sweet, it's not salty. But if you're going to put a little bit sugar powder to it, freeze it, and after that put it on ice cream or mix it also with nuts. It's very nice to put it on other desserts as a decoration. Beautiful. The cream is already chilled also, so when you take it out, you really want to work it a little bit, so it's going to become creamy and not chunky. I'm going to start filling the tray with the first layer on the bottom without any cream underneath. We really want to keep the bottom dry, because tomorrow we're going to flip the cake from the tray and serve it as a whole cake without the tray. If you want to keep it inside the tray, I suggest you to put cream on the bottom, so the bottom layer is going to also soak some of the cream in it, and it's going to be much softer when you eat it. And now, taking the other layer with the holes that we did, flip it so you have the bottom facing up, and press it. A little bit of cream, so it's not going to be dry. Just with a knife, take it and go over the edges. Very nice. First time, you jump in with the knife. Second time, you just go in with the knife through So now, you're not going to take the cake and flip it. You're going to take the board, put it on top of the cake, and flip it. Do it fast, otherwise you're going to lose the cake into the other side or in your face. So, just going to flip it, give it a nice push, and with a knife, you just take all the cream that you have left over, let me know what you think about this video and this recipe in the comments below, and see you next week. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Andrei. This is ThinkOFood.